Chapter 1: Why Blood Sugar Control Becomes Harder After 50. Once we pass the age of 50, many of us notice subtle changes in how our bodies respond to the foods we eat, particularly carbohydrates. Even people who have never been diagnosed with diabetes may start experiencing higher blood sugar readings, slower recovery after meals, and unexplained fatigue. These changes aren't random, they are the result of a complex interplay between hormonal shifts, muscle loss, and declining insulin sensitivity. Insulin, produced by the pancreas, is the body's key gatekeeper for glucose. After you eat, carbohydrates are broken down into glucose, which enters your bloodstream. Insulin's job is to unlock your cells and allow this glucose to be used for energy or stored for later use. The problem after 50 is that the locks on your cells start to get rusty. This is called insulin resistance. Your cells stop responding to insulin signal as efficiently, meaning glucose stays in the bloodstream longer. This forces your pancreas to produce more insulin to compensate, and over time, this cycle wears down your body's ability to regulate blood sugar. Why does this happen more after 50? Hormonal changes. For women, menopause brings a dramatic decline in estrogen, which has a protective effect on insulin sensitivity. For men, a gradual drop in testosterone also reduces muscle mass and metabolic flexibility. Loss of muscle mass. Sarcopenia. Muscle tissue is the body's largest storage depot for glucose. Less muscle means less capacity to absorb and store blood sugar after a meal. Decreased mitochondrial efficiency. Mitochondria are the tiny power plants inside your cells. As they age, they become less effective at using glucose for fuel, leaving more sugar circulating in your blood. Changes in gut microbiome. Your gut bacteria shift with age, which can impact how quickly and efficiently you digest and absorb carbohydrates. The danger here is that blood sugar spikes aren't just a momentary problem. Over time, high glucose levels silently damage your body through glycation, sugar molecules attached to proteins, fats, and even DNA, making them brittle and less functional. Inflammation. Chronic high blood sugar keeps your immune system in a low-grade alarm mode. Vascular damage. The inner lining of your arteries, endothelium, is particularly sensitive to sugar damage, increasing the risk of heart disease and stroke. Most people miss these early signs because the symptoms are mild and nonspecific. Maybe you feel unusually sleepy after lunch, struggle with mild brain fog, or crave something sweet mid-afternoon. But ignoring these signs allows the problem to compound, quietly speeding up the biological aging process. Chapter 2: The Hidden Dangers of Blood Sugar Spikes. When most people think of high blood sugar, they picture diabetes. But you don't need to have diabetes for blood sugar spikes to cause harm. Even temporary surges into the high normal range can set off a cascade of metabolic stress that damages your body over time. Here's what happens. After you eat a high-carbohydrate meal, say, a bagel with jam or a plate of pasta, your blood sugar rises quickly. Your pancreas responds by releasing a surge of insulin to push that glucose into your cells. If the spike is steep, your body often overshoots the correction, driving your blood sugar down too far and too fast. This crash is why you may feel tired, irritable, and craving more sugar just an hour or two later. This is not just about willpower, it's a biochemical loop that drives you toward more snacking and overeating. Long-term, frequent spikes can lead to oxidative stress. High glucose triggers excess production of free radicals, unstable molecules that damage cell membranes, proteins, and DNA. Chronic inflammation. Your immune system treats high sugar like an injury, releasing inflammatory cytokines that contribute to arthritis, heart disease, and even cancer. Brain aging. Studies show that higher blood sugar is linked to smaller brain volume, slower cognitive processing, and greater risk of dementia. Hormone disruption. Blood sugar instability can interfere with cortisol, stress hormone, estrogen, and testosterone balance, affecting mood, sleep, and metabolism. One of the most concerning findings in recent research is that even normal or blood sugar spikes can be harmful. In fact, a 2018 study in Nature Medicine found that healthy individuals who experienced large post-meal glucose swings had greater markers of inflammation and oxidative stress than those with more stable blood sugar, even when average glucose levels were fine. Chapter 3: How Aging Changes the Way You Process Carbs. Think back to your 20s. You could probably have pizza at midnight, grab an ice cream, and wake up the next day feeling fine. Your metabolism was quick, your muscles were abundant, and your hormones were primed for efficient glucose handling. But after 50, that same indulgence can leave you sluggish, bloated, mentally foggy, and sometimes even with a headache. Why? Because several age-related changes slow your carbohydrate metabolism. Loss of muscle mass: muscle tissue acts like a glucose sponge. Each contraction during activity pulls sugar from your bloodstream. But starting around age 30, adults lose 3 to 8% of muscle mass per decade, accelerating after 50. Reduced pancreatic efficiency: your beta cells, the insulin-producing cells in the pancreas, may not release insulin as quickly or in the right amount, allowing glucose to rise higher after meals. Hormonal shifts: in women, the drop in estrogen after menopause reduces insulin sensitivity. In men, the decline in testosterone does the same. Both changes also promote fat gain around the abdomen, which further worsens insulin resistance. Slower metabolism: resting energy expenditure drops, meaning the same amount of carbs now represents a bigger glucose load for your body. In practical terms, this means you can no longer eat large amounts of refined carbs without consequences. Timing, portion control, and pairing carbs with protein, fat, or fiber become essential to avoiding dangerous spikes. Chapter 4: Early warning signs you're experiencing blood sugar spikes. Your body usually gives hints before a serious blood sugar problem develops. Unfortunately, these signs are easy to brush off as just getting older. Here are the subtle red flags. Post-meal fatigue: feeling like you need a nap an hour after eating is often due to a rapid rise and fall in blood sugar. Headaches or dizziness: sudden changes in glucose can cause shifts in blood vessel tone and brain chemistry. Sugar cravings after meals: a classic sign that your last meal triggered a spike and crash cycle. Increased thirst and urination: your kidneys try to flush excess glucose by drawing water from your body. Blurry vision: high sugar levels temporarily change the shape of your eye's lens. Brain fog: difficulty concentrating after eating is often due to unstable glucose levels in the brain. Mood swings or irritability: blood sugar swings affect neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine. Catching these signs early allows you to make diet and lifestyle adjustments before more serious damage occurs. Chapter 5: The blood sugar-aging connection. One of the most profound, yet underappreciated, impacts of high blood sugar is its effect on aging at the cellular level. Glycation is the process by which excess glucose binds to proteins, fats, and even DNA. This creates compounds called advanced glycation end products, AGEs. AGEs are harmful because they stiffen arteries, raising blood pressure and cardiovascular risk. Damage skin collagen, reducing elasticity and causing wrinkles. Interfere with joint repair, leading to stiffness and arthritis-like pain. Disrupt nerve function, slowing reflexes and reducing sensation. On top of that, high glucose accelerates telomere shortening. Telomeres are protective caps at the ends of chromosomes, and every time a cell divides, telomeres get shorter. Shorter telomeres are linked to reduced lifespan and increased risk of age-related diseases. This means frequent blood sugar spikes are not just making you feel older, they are literally causing your body to age faster at the molecular level. Chapter 6: Daily Habits that Worsen Blood Sugar Spikes. After the age of 50, our body's ability to regulate blood sugar naturally becomes less efficient. That means habits that you may have gotten away with in your 30s or 40s can now have a much bigger impact, often without you realizing it. In fact, some seemingly harmless routines may be silently causing larger and more frequent glucose spikes, which in turn accelerate aging, inflammation, and the risk of chronic disease. Let's break down the most common culprits and understand why they're so damaging. 1. Skipping breakfast. Many people believe skipping breakfast is a good way to reduce calories, but for those over 50, it can actually backfire. When you wake up, your body has been fasting for 8 to 12 hours, and your blood sugar is relatively stable. But your muscles and liver are primed to release stored glucose for quick energy. If you wait too long to eat, your body's hunger hormones, like ghrelin, surge, making you more likely to crave high-carb foods later in the day. When you finally eat, your insulin response is often exaggerated, leading to a sharper and higher blood sugar spike. Over time, this pattern can increase insulin resistance. 2. Eating too many refined carbs. White bread, pasta, pastries, sugary cereals, crackers, and even some low-fat snacks are rapidly broken down into glucose in the bloodstream. These foods lack the fiber and protein needed to slow digestion, so they cause your blood sugar to rise quickly and dramatically. After 50, your pancreas may struggle to produce enough insulin to manage these spikes effectively, leaving you with higher post-meal blood sugar for longer periods. Frequent surges like this can damage blood vessels, nerves, and even your brain. 3. Leading a sedentary lifestyle. Physical inactivity is one of the biggest hidden drivers of blood sugar instability. Your muscles are a major storage unit for glucose. They soak it up from your bloodstream and use it for energy. But if you spend most of your day sitting, those storage units stay closed, and your body has to rely on insulin to do all the work. This leads to higher circulating glucose and can contribute to long-term insulin resistance. 4. Late-night eating. Your body's circadian rhythm affects how well you process glucose. Insulin sensitivity is naturally highest during the day and lowest at night. That means the same meal eaten at 8 p.m. will likely produce a higher spike than if you ate it at 1 p.m. For people over 50, this effect is even stronger. Late-night eating can also disrupt your sleep, creating a vicious cycle. Poor sleep further worsens blood sugar control. 5. Chronic high stress. Stress isn't just a mental burden, it's a metabolic disruptor. When you're under stress, your body releases cortisol, a hormone that tells your liver to release stored glucose into your bloodstream to prepare for fight or flight. The problem? In modern life, most stressors aren't physical threats, so you don't burn off that extra glucose. This leads to prolonged elevated blood sugar, even if you haven't eaten. Key takeaway: identifying and breaking these habits is not about perfection, it's about awareness. Once you see the patterns that trigger your spikes, you can swap them for healthier routines that keep your glucose more stable. Chapter 7: Foods that keep blood sugar stable. One of the most powerful ways to control blood sugar after 50 is by choosing foods that naturally slow glucose absorption and keep energy steady. These aren't exotic superfoods you have to hunt for, they're everyday items that, when eaten regularly, can drastically reduce post-meal spikes. 1. Non-starchy vegetables. Think broccoli, spinach, kale, Brussels sprouts, zucchini, cucumbers, bell peppers, and cauliflower. These vegetables are high in fiber and water while being very low in natural sugars. Fiber acts like a traffic light for digestion, slowing down how quickly carbs turn into glucose in your bloodstream. Adding a big portion of these veggies to your meals can blunt spikes, even if the meal contains carbs. 2. Healthy fats. Fats slow gastric emptying, meaning food leaves your stomach more slowly, and glucose trickles into your blood instead of flooding it. Avocados, olive oil, nuts, seeds, and fatty fish like salmon are all excellent sources. These fats also provide anti-inflammatory benefits, which is important because chronic inflammation worsens insulin resistance. 3. Lean proteins. Protein has a stabilizing effect on blood sugar because it stimulates the release of glucagon, a hormone that helps balance insulin. Good options include chicken, turkey, fish, eggs, and plant-based proteins like lentils and tofu. Pairing protein with carbs, for example, eating eggs with whole grain toast instead of toast alone, can reduce the spike by a significant margin. 4. Low glycemic fruits. Not all fruits are created equal when it comes to blood sugar impact. Berries, cherries, apples, pears, and plums have a lower glycemic index, meaning they release glucose more slowly than bananas, grapes, or tropical fruits. Their fiber content also helps stabilize glucose levels. 5. Whole grains. Unlike refined grains, whole grains like quinoa, oats, barley, and bulgur contain the bran and germ, which slow digestion and reduce glucose surges. They also provide important minerals like magnesium, which plays a role in insulin sensitivity. Pro tip: always pair carbohydrates with either protein or healthy fat. This food combination strategy can significantly reduce glucose spikes without requiring you to cut carbs entirely. Chapter 8: Lifestyle Strategies to Prevent Spikes. Diet is only part of the equation. Lifestyle choices, from how you move to how you manage stress, can make or break your glucose control after 50. Here are evidence-backed strategies that work with your biology instead of against it. 1. Move after meals. A simple 10 to 15 minute walk after eating can reduce post-meal blood sugar by up to 30%. That's because your muscles use glucose for fuel, pulling it directly from your bloodstream. Light household chores, gardening, or even dancing can have a similar effect. 2. Incorporate strength training. Muscle tissue is like a sponge for glucose. The more muscle you have, the more storage space for excess sugar. Strength training, whether it's lifting weights, using resistance bands, or doing bodyweight exercises, not only builds muscle but also improves insulin sensitivity. 3. Stay hydrated. Dehydration makes it harder for your kidneys to flush out excess glucose. Aim for at least 2 liters, about 8 cups, of water per day. Herbal teas and mineral water also count, but sugary drinks do not. 4. Manage stress. Chronic stress keeps cortisol high, which keeps blood sugar high. Techniques like meditation, deep breathing, yoga, tai chi, or even listening to calming music can lower cortisol within minutes. 5. Prioritize quality sleep. Poor sleep reduces your body's ability to use insulin effectively, making glucose spikes more likely. Adults over 50 should aim for 7 to 9 hours of consistent, high-quality sleep. Create a relaxing bedtime routine and keep a regular schedule to support your circadian rhythm. Chapter 9: Smart Monitoring for Better Control. You don't need to be diabetic to benefit from monitoring your blood sugar. In fact, tracking your glucose patterns can reveal how your body responds to specific foods, stress, and sleep, giving you the power to make informed changes. 1. Home glucose meters. These inexpensive devices let you test your blood sugar before and after meals to see your individual responses. You might be surprised to find that certain healthy foods cause bigger spikes than you expected. 2. Continuous glucose monitors, CGMs. A CGM is a small wearable sensor that measures glucose in real time. It gives you detailed data 24/7, showing how your body reacts not just to meals, but also to stress, exercise, and sleep patterns. 3. Regular blood work. Tests like fasting glucose, A1C, average blood sugar over 3 months, and fasting insulin can reveal problems early, even years before a diabetes diagnosis. Ask your doctor to include these in your annual checkup. Bottom line, monitoring removes the guesswork. Once you have the data, you can fine-tune your diet and habits for optimal glucose control. Chapter 10: The Path to Healthy Aging. Stable blood sugar is about so much more than avoiding diabetes. It's one of the most powerful tools you have to protect your body and brain as you age. By keeping your glucose in check, you protect your brain from cognitive decline and memory loss. Preserve your vision by reducing the risk of diabetic retinopathy and macular degeneration. Keep your skin youthful by preventing glycation, which damages collagen and causes wrinkles. Maintain joint health by lowering inflammation. Reduce heart disease and stroke risk by protecting blood vessels from damage. Final takeaway: blood sugar spikes are not an inevitable part of aging. By combining smart food choices, active living, stress management, and regular monitoring, you can keep your metabolism sharp, your energy levels steady, and your mind crystal clear well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond.